Hi friends, I'm Cindy Jackson, Scrapbook Cowgirl. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm creating layout 3 from the Extraordinary Life Scrapbook Workshop Kit from Stampin' Up. But as always, this layout isn't really about the paper I'm using, it's about the story. So in the previous 2 weeks, we've created layout 1 and layout 2, and today we'll finish up with this kit and create layout 3. So as I was deciding on what photos to use on this layout, I was reminded once again how the products can help uncover stories you weren't planning to tell. So if you remember last week, the title led me to the story, You Make Me Smile, and I told a story about my daughter-in-law Carly and how I love scrapbooking with her and spending time with her. So the title on this layout is Happy Times. So this is the sticker we're going to use for the title. And so that could be for just about any photos, right? So that didn't really give me a direction this week. But then I looked at the embellishments. And so the embellishments this week are lots and lots of paper butterflies. And so I thought, butterflies, do I have any pictures of butterflies? And so I went to my photo library and searched the word butterfly. And these photos popped up with this beautiful butterfly mural. So these photos are of a fun day when our exchange student, Ursina, was here for a visit. She was meeting my daughter-in-law, who was not my daughter-in-law at the time, Carly, for the first time. But Carly was an important part of my youngest son's life at the time. And so I booked a salon appointment for the three of us girls to get a blowout. Some call it a Brazilian blowout, where they wash and blow dry and fix your hair. And so I thought it would be a good time with the three of us girls while Ursina was in town. And so the salon was called Peace, Love, and Good Hair. And so I have photos of us getting our hair done. And then after we were finished, we took a picture in front of that beautiful butterfly mural. And this was us three girls before we went into the salon, or as we came in. And I even had a screenshot that I had saved on my phone of our appointment times with the salon. And so the date was on there, the time, and who our stylist was, and all of that. So I've got everything kind of laid out. I did change the photos direction. My photos were different orientation than the guide showed. But other than that, I'm following the pattern pretty well. I did add some strawberry slush cardstock. Yeah, just because of Carly's pink t-shirt she had on, and then the pink in the butterfly mural, I thought that that color brought out those colors. And all of the colors, of course, are in that fun stripe. So I procrastinated printing these photos all week, I have to tell you. Every time I thought about this layout, I told myself, it was just a day at the salon, right? Is that really an interesting story? And I almost chose different photos because I didn't think that this one would be meaningful enough. But then something happened. At first, I thought they were just simply pictures from the day that we had our hair done. But the more I looked at them, the more I realized that the salon wasn't the story. And so if you watched last week's video, you might remember me sharing that I grew up with two brothers and later became the mom of two wonderful boys. So I absolutely love being a boy mom. But if I'm being honest, there was always that little part of me that wondered what it would be like to have a daughter someday. And so today, as we put this layout together, we'll talk about what this day was all about. So we're going to get started. I'm going to start adhering all of my photos to the mat. This should be a fairly quick layout. So love this strawberry slush. This is the dark side of the strawberry slush. And then I print my photos on my Epson PM400. And so I collaged two portrait style photos onto one 4x6 canvas. And so then I could add more photos that way. And all of the photos on the layout 3 were all portrait but 4x6. And so I needed to do a little something different to get all of my photos on here. So have you guys gotten this kit yet? The Extraordinary Life. So I have loved the layouts that I've created with this kit. I love the colors, and I've been able to tell some fun stories. And so if you haven't watched the last two videos, you can go back and watch those. I'm going to go ahead. I've already got my journaling typed up and printed, so we are ready to get this story told. So, like I said, these kits from Stampin' Up, the scrapbook kits, you can use them just as they are, or you can use them as a jumping off point for your creativity, right? And so it's so nice to just be able to sit down and create, and it tells you, you know, how many photos you need and all of that. But if you're like me and your photos go the wrong direction, or you have too many, you can always change that up easily. So I cut all my paper just as they suggested according to the guide. And then I only didn't use one of this 4x6, and then grabbed from my stash to get the strawberry slush. And I think that adds a fun pop of color. All right, so we're gonna stick down our bases. I love this polka dot pattern. It's so cute, right? So our bases are white willow cardstock, and then the fun polka dot pattern. And we're just going to center that about a 1/2 inch from all the edges. All right. And then the same on the other side. And I did go ahead, just like I've done on the previous two layouts, and went ahead and put a little black ink all around the edges, just so they pop off the page just a little bit more. I love that little bit of black with those bright colors. All right, so again, just centered 1/2 inch all around. I think that looks pretty good. All right. And so then at the bottom of each of these, let's see, our stripe is going to go to the very bottom. And that stripe pattern I love so much that I ordered an extra pack of this paper this last week, and it just came yesterday. I thought, I'm not going to have any left of this paper, and I love it. And so I ordered another pack of the DSP. All right, so that's the base. Let's do this other one. So the backs of these papers were all black and white patterns, which was super fun. All right, so just flush to the bottom of the polka dot. And then use the light side for this strip. Easy enough, right? So there's the bases, and then we just have to add our photos and our embellishments. So that fun happy time sticker title is going to go behind here, and this is just one of the die cut punch outs. And then it called for a 3x3 photo up here. And then this is where I switched it up. It did have two 4x6 portrait photos, and I needed some smaller photos, so I just put it on a landscape. So what do you think about that? Something like that. And then we're going to have those fun butterfly embellishments all over the page. All right, so journaling, and then the picture that started it all, right? So when I searched for butterflies in my photos, that big mural came up and I was like, oh yeah, I have all those pictures to scrapbook, right? And so sometimes it works like that, right? So one more photo. This is us, just a close-up and a portrait photo in front of that same mural. So I think that looks pretty good, except I'm going to need to make sure I want my photos all on the same line. So it's looking like maybe 2.5 inches from the bottom, something like that. So I'll bring those down a little bit more. How does that look? Okay, I guess we can start getting them stuck down. Oh, we've got to add some stickers too. We've got these sticker borders. So these are going to go right alongside or along the top of that striped paper. And so there's the colored one and then some white sticker borders. So we need to get those on there first. Good thing I didn't start sticking those pictures, huh? All right. And it says that we need to trim those, I think, to 11 inches. Yep. So we'll trim our stickers to 11 inches long. Just going to put those in the paper trimmer out to 11. And then make sure it stays there. We can just cut right through those two. I hope you can see that. I'm not off camera, so I just cut right through just those two stickers there. So do you guys use the Stampin' Up paper trimmer? So it is a good one. I love it. Cuts really nice. All right. So I'm just pulling that sticker straight up from the sticker sheet. And like I said, it looks like it just goes flush right along the top of the striped paper. Perfect. Better slide those up a little and do the other one. All right. So have you guys ever gone to get the Brazilian blowout or whatever they call it? Just a blow dry bar? I would love to know. It was my first and only experience doing that. It was fun. They wash your hair, massage your scalp, all that. And then blow dry it and style it for you. So it was fun to pamper ourselves, right? All right, and we need to get that Happy Times sticker. I love all the colors in that. And so it's going to fit right behind. Just like it was made for it, right? So stick that. Cool. And I'll go ahead and put some adhesive. And so remember, all the die cuts all have the project number. So this is layout 3. It says project 3. And so, yeah. Just frame that title. It's so cute. And all done for you. So it makes it so easy. All right, so according to the instructions, our pictures are going to come down onto the scallops a little, and then the white sticker borders are short pieces, and they're just going to go in between. So we need to figure out how we're doing that. That means these need to come down a little bit lower than I was thinking. So something like so. So this one shows a little journaling piece that'll cover in between those two photos. And so we need a short piece on each end. So these are here. Hard to see on camera, I'm sure, the white, but we'll just pull up those pieces of sticker border and do one on each end. And it's just going to go slightly above. Cute with the stitching already in it, so that's cute. So we can go, and then just one on this end. So have you made this layout yet? I would love to know. And what photos, what story did you tell on this one with the title of Happy Times and the butterflies? So the butterflies are what led me to these photos and finding this and deciding to tell this story. So I did find a few butterfly photos from a butterfly garden in Thailand on a trip we took. And so colors just weren't quite right. So I'm thinking that these pictures were designed to go down, so they're going to have to come a little lower. Trying to figure out how low they need to go. You know what? I like the white scallops, but it's making me rethink the design. And so I'm wondering if I don't add the white ones, if that'll give me a little more leeway on designing this layout. So I think I like that a little better, not coming down and covering up all the scallops. What do you think? Save those white scallops for somewhere else, right? All right, let's go with it. So the back side of that strawberry slush is a lot pinker. I started to go with it because I think it was closer to Carly's shirt, but it was pretty bright. So we're going to do our 3x3 up here. Cute, cute, cute. So, and this is the light side of the Lost Lagoon, and then the photo mat is the dark side, so that there's a little contrast there. All right. And it was fun to see the screenshot of the appointments. I guess I had just screenshot it so I knew when the appointment was in my photos and that I didn't lose it, but it was fun to have to add on to here. All right, may write on there and then pop it up. Okay, let's do this other side. So it looks like I've got my photos 2 3/8 or so from the bottom. So, make sure I can fit that other photo. So as I talked about in last week's video, Ursina, our exchange student, came and lived with us for a school year. And she was from Switzerland. We've since been back to Switzerland for her wedding when she got married, and she has 2 children, a boy and a girl, who are now teenagers, which is crazy. And she is a doctor. And when she came to us as a high school senior, she was speaking 7 languages, which is so crazy. So super talented girl, so proud of her. All right, and so this last visit, when she came, she stayed with me for a week, and then she was going on to a Spanish language camp in Costa Rica, I think, to brush up on her Spanish skills. So crazy, huh? So this is my now daughter-in-law, Carly, getting her hair done. This is the back of Ursina's hair after she got her hair done. And she's not a very girly girl, and so for her to get her hair curled a little bit was a big deal. All right, so we're gonna start pulling from these butterflies and seeing where we want all of those to go. So they're layered, and just like last week with our hearts, they had us take our stylus and kind of score them in the middle, and I've already done that, so you don't have to watch that today. And kind of shows one down here maybe, and then one like this. So pretty. I love that they're all cut out for us. So maybe one like so. All right. There's another one up here. That's cute. So how does that look? And let's see the other side. I also pulled some of these paperboard butterflies, the black ones, and some hearts. I don't know if I'll use them, but I thought they were cute. They might be fun. So we're going to do one down here layered up. And let's see, it shows some just plain butterflies. Maybe one up here. I don't know. Showing one like here. So I can see lots of butterflies, and that's why I was searching my phone for what kind of butterfly pictures do I have. Not that they had to be butterflies. They could be any photos with happy times, right? Let's see. They show one kind of over here. So I wonder what the black ones, they have all these little intricate poke outs I'll have to poke out if I use those. If it's too much, maybe a little one. What do you think? Too many butterflies? I don't know. Let me just set them aside for now and think on that. So let me get these glued down. I'll just use a little tape runner, I guess, so they can fly. Just right down the middle. The center, I love that they provide all those die cuts. So cute. So I would love to know what story you would tell with this layout. What things come to mind? It really is just an everyday life type layout, right? That you could use just about anything. But sometimes we just need a direction when we're scrapbooking. So like I said, I found these pictures and I thought about it and I thought, you know, they'll work on there. But is that a big enough story? Especially to tell on YouTube, right? Hey, we went and got our hair done. Not a great big story, but it's an everyday life. So I procrastinated, and then the more I looked at them, something happened. So I realized that this layout, it wasn't about getting our hair done, and it wasn't about the salon appointment. The pictures show what we did, but the story tells more about the relationships, right? So if you watched last week's video, I shared, that I had 2 boys and, loved being a boy mom, but loved getting to have a daughter-in-law finally and getting to spend time with Carly. And so this was the day that Carly met Ursina and vice versa for the first time. And so Carly, was Dakota's girlfriend at the time. And so Ursina was living with us when Dakota was born. And so she was one of the first people that got to hold him in the hospital. And so she's known him literally all his life. And, is a big part of her life. And so it was a special moment for her to get to meet Carly. And little did we know, just a month after Ursina's visit, Dakota proposed to Carly. And so, of course, now they're married and, they have a baby, my first grandchild. So this was just, the beginning of a new chapter of our story. And so I always wanted a girl, like I told you, and then I realized that, God blessed me with 2 boys, but later he brought Ursina into our life, and then he brought Carly into our family. And looking back, I realized he answered that longing for a daughter in a way that I never expected. Those mother-daughter moments still came, just not in the way I had imagined. And so I just challenge you to, tell the story, look for those deeper moments. And I just love that scrapbooking makes me slow down long enough to, discover what the story's really about. Sometimes, like last week, the title chose the story. And sometimes, like this week, the embellishments help me find the story to tell. So I almost didn't tell this story because I thought it wasn't important enough. And I wonder how many photos we all have sitting on our phones because we think it was just an ordinary day. But here's what I'm learning. The event is rarely the story. The meaning is the story. The salon was simply where the story happened, and the relationships are why it mattered. So I feel a whole lot better about documenting this story and telling the deeper meaning behind these photos, that it wasn't just a day at the salon. And so I'll read you my journaling, and it says, when Ursina came to visit, I booked appointments for her, Carly, and I at a new salon in town called Peace, Love, and Good Hair. It was especially meaningful because this was the first time that she had met Carly. Ursina lived with us the year Dakota was born and has loved him his entire life. None of us knew that just 1 month later, Dakota would propose to Carly. Looking back, this wasn't just a fun girls' day. It was a special chapter in our family story. And I loved sharing these mother-daughter moments with both of my girls. So I feel so good about documenting that story and the reason why for the photos. I planned the salon day just to spend time with the girls, but it really was a meaningful week. So, Ursina's now met Dakota's wife, and hopefully she'll get to come visit soon and get to meet his son. So I love the story behind the photos, and the reason I love scrapbooking so much is documenting those stories. And I think, someday when my grandson Archer is looking at these layouts and reading, he's going to not care that we went and got our hair done, but he's going to care about when, his, mom was first introduced into the family and how she came to be, and to know about these strong women in our family. So makes me feel good. And I hope that, that you'll take time to tell your stories. And so that is the whole, reason behind my brand and my challenge this year. This is my story. And so every week I've been posting a different journaling prompt. And so hope you'll follow along. I did a video a couple weeks ago all about that challenge if you want to go back and watch it. So I'm looking at what else this layout needs. And so they show these little black words that should go right up in here, celebrating the little things. And I think that those will fit really nicely there. And definitely we were celebrating the little things. So, and that fun black pop with all those bright colors looks really good. So we're just going to stagger those a little bit, celebrating the little things. Something like that. Looks like we're going to have to go a little lower with our butterfly. So one more word to squeeze in there. So we'll stagger back this way. Thinking celebrating doesn't look very straight. That looks better. Are you particular with things being straight on your layouts? Some people eyeball, some measure, right? And yeah, I really like things to be straight. I do my best. All right, and so they show these other words on the other layout, and they say good days ahead. And so they show them to be right down here. See if we can fit those in there. They're short words, good days ahead, so it should fit. Good days ahead. Cute, right? I love it. Like I said, these kits make it so easy. They come with the instructions, the cutting guide, the step-by-step, the measurements, all the things that make it so easy. So I love this. You make the ordinary extraordinary. I'm wondering if that would fit down here. They don't show it on this layout, but I like it. So maybe we could put it right down here. I like that. Pretty. All right. So I've got those black paperboard accents, and then we've got some dots. So not sure if I want to add these, if it's too much, since we've got so many of the butterflies going on. That maybe more butterflies would be a little much. Kind of think it's just a little too much. So let's look at our dots. So maybe the dark ones. I'm thinking that the butterflies maybe need a little something right on them. Let's see. There's my pickup tool. Whoop. Get my pickup tool, see if I can get it going. One of those went flying, so maybe just on the body maybe. What do you think? Mike could use more than one. Kind of looks empty. Yeah, like two. Kind of like the two. Cute, cute. Love these colors of, this is the array of dots. Colors go so good. putty's wanting to stick to the dot. There we go. Need my little gum eraser, right? Well darn, huh? There it comes. Okay. On up here. I think it needs a tinier one. The tiny ones. Cute, cute. Such an easy layout. All of them have been pretty simple. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing all 3 of these layouts come to life. They've been fun. I'm going to try a littler one on that one. So 3 memories recorded, story documented, photos in the scrapbook, so feels great. All right, I think that's plenty. I'm going to put the date on here. So it was June of 23 actually, so I'm going to write that there with my journaling pen, and I think that layout is complete. So hope that you enjoyed watching this layout come together so quickly. And so I'd love for you to try something this week and open your photo library and just search for one word. And maybe it's like me, you search for butterfly, maybe it's Christmas or blue or dog, whatever you need to search for, and see what comes up. You might discover a story that you had completely forgotten. So to wrap up, the photos captured the day, and the butterflies led me to the story, and that's exactly why I love scrapbooking. The photos tells us what happened, the journaling tells us why it mattered. So thank you to everyone for spending a little time with me today, and until next time, keep preserving the stories that matter. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe and give it a thumbs up, because that really helps me out here on YouTube. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.